What does it mean to be on the verge? Well, in our series this month with the students, we've been talking about skydiving. Now, I don't know if you've been skydiving before. Most of our students have not, but we talked about what they imagine they would feel if they went skydiving. We even watched a video where we watched the viewpoint from a GoPro of a skydiver waiting in an airplane and watching his buddies jump out of the plane in the moment that he is getting ready to dive into the clouds. Being on the verge means these moments in life when we come to the edge of something big. Maybe we're on the verge of giving up when situations get tough. Or maybe we're on the verge of giving in to temptation with sin. Or sometimes we're on the verge of giving out when we feel like we have nothing left to give. The truth is, everyone comes to the edge. During our series, we've been studying in the Old Testament about the Israelites in their journey to the Promised Land. We've looked at multiple stories about how God has brought the Israelites right up to the edge of huge decision moments and how they've either risen to the occasion or how they've relied on their own strength and failed. Something that's been cool for me in this series is to look back on my life at some of my on the verge moments. I've looked back as far as middle school, through high school, and through college, and through some recent years of some moments that God has brought me through and that I've been able to share with the students about. And it's been cool because some of our coaches and our very own students have been really reflecting on some of their on the verge stories and even sharing them in front of other students and coaches. And it's been amazing to see the results of this. We've had lots of amazing conversations with students as they're just processing what they've been hearing in the scriptures, what they've been hearing from our real life testimonies from those around them, and how they're able to connect the dots and really see what God was doing back then in scripture and what he continues to do now in the lives of those around them. So I think it would be really impactful for you to just think through, what have some of those on the verge moments been for you? If they're stories of successes, that's awesome. But even if they're stories of failures, that's okay too, because students need to hear those real stories and they need to hear how God ultimately brought you through those moments. Now, I'm not a parent of teenagers yet, but I am a parent of young kids. So I understand that it's extremely difficult sometimes to walk our kids through these on the verge moments and situations. It takes so much patience, strength, and wisdom. And truly, these are things that we can only get from God. The only way that we're going to be able to truly disciple our kids through these tough moments is not by relying on only our own strength and experiences, but it's by realizing that God can do a work through us to come alongside our kids. So I would like to share with you 3 lessons of encouragement from our On the Verge series. Here's the first one. And yes, it may seem obvious, but it's truly something that cannot be substituted in this process. It's to pray for your kids. When you're in those moments, when you're feeling anxious about the decisions and the situations that your kids are coming up against, it's so vital to lift those things up to the Lord. Before we run and even tell a bunch of other people about it, before we seek advice from others, which can be a helpful thing to do, we need to go to the Lord first. Because when we surrender these anxieties, these worries to Him, He is the only one who can take control of these situations. He's the only one who's going to give you wisdom and who's going to be able to do a work in your kid's life while they're on these on the verge situations. Number 2 is to truly take the time to listen to your kids. When your kids approach you about a situation that they're struggling with, it can be really easy to want to jump in and fix it because you know your kids really well. But it's so vital for your relationship and just for them to be able to process out loud for you to really hear them out. It's important to ask guiding questions to get more information, but also important not to ask too many questions because they might feel overwhelmed. Just really let them share what they feel led to share and listen. Number 2 is to listen to your kids, to truly take the time to be a good listener. When they come to you with things that they're struggling with, it can be really easy to want to jump in and fix everything. We know our kids really well, right? Better than anyone else. But for your relationship with them, and in order for them to be able to verbally process what they're going through, it's so important that you take the time for them to lay it all out completely. It can be really important for you to ask some clarifying questions, but try not to ask too many questions because they could get overwhelmed and maybe feel like you don't trust them. So if you really just take a breath and let them get it all out there, it can really show them that you care and that you can be a listening ear at any time. Number 3, the final one, help them discern what the Lord wants them to do. And this is one that it's really important that we try not to fast track. Again, oftentimes we want to jump in and fix the situation so that our kids don't have to face pain, so they don't have to go through these difficult situations. But as we've been learning in our stories from Scripture, sometimes God calls us to growing pain moments. Sometimes He calls us to challenges that we need to rise up against so that we can grow in our faith and so that we can get to know Him better. As parents, we have the incredible honor of getting to walk alongside our kids and our teenagers through some of these moments. But it's so important that we don't always try to jump in and fix things immediately. Sometimes these things take time, and that can take a lot of patience, and it can be scary. Let's just be honest. It feels like we're not in control and that maybe they could get hurt. And of course, you do know your kids better than anyone else. And along with discernment from the Lord, you're going to be able to know exactly how you can help guide them and walk alongside them through this process. Our end goal should be wanting our kids to be fully devoted followers of Christ, that they have a faith that is their own, that can stand on its own 2 legs, so that eventually, when they're fully grown, that they are able to face these on the verge moments with confidence and that they know that they can always go to you, of course. Hopefully, that's something I pray for each one of you, that you have that relationship that will carry forward for the rest of their lives. But of course, the first and foremost priority is that they have that relationship with the Lord, that they know no matter what happens, no matter who's in their lives or who's not, that the Lord is there to guide them through all of these circumstances and that they will be okay. But sometimes it takes confidence, it takes wisdom, it takes patience, it takes that strength that only that the Lord can give. And we want you to know that the student team is always here for you, both parents and students. Anytime you have these moments in life that you're up against and you need extra prayer or guidance or just a listening ear, we would love to hear from you. Reach out and we would love to gather around you and pray. That's what community is for. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. We'll see you soon.